Hilary Duff is an accomplished actress, teen idol, and singer. She marked her rise to fame in the early 2000s with the hit Disney Channel show Lizzie McGuire, becoming a fan favorite and certified phenomenon, with many teens around the world relating to the character's quirky tendencies. As she rose to fame with her acting, she became a marketable force within the industry and began to find a footing within music. In 2002, Duff released I Can't Wait, a cover of a Brooke McClymont song. Later that year, she would continue to build familiarity in music with the cover of Tiki Tiki Room for Disney Mania, a Disney Channel music compilation album. Hillary's jump off to her music career was rather unconventional because she started off her career with a Christmas album, filled with covers and no original content. Tied into the movie of the same name, Santa Claus Lane was released that winter to moderate success, and later being certified gold for selling over 500,000 copies. Duff also continued her success with the Lizzie McGuire movie soundtrack, which went on to sell over 2 million copies and spawned the cult classic This Is What Dreams Are Made Of. But it wasn't until 2003 that Hillary really began to make a name for herself as an artist and helped lay down a foundation for ex Disney Channel acts that would be followed for years to come. At the height of her teen idol fame, her second album, Metamorphosis, was released to great success.
I think we decided to call the album Metamorphosis because it's a big change for me. And it's a big change for everybody else also. Lots of people know me as characters and stuff that I played on TV. And it's really personal. And it's a good way for everybody to get to know more about Hillary. So it's called Metamorphosis for a change in me and everybody else.
It produced the moderately successful hits So Yesterday and Come Clean. The album consisted of teen bubblegum pop and was met with mixed reviews from critics, but the most important part was that it connected to her audience greatly, so much so that it went on to sell over 5 million copies and was in the top 10 of best-selling albums in 2003. And this was the start of it all, but also a very important part in her career that helped cultivate some of your favorite ex-acts, such as Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus, and Demi Lovato. It's worth noting before the release of this album, Hollywood Records was in turmoil and was suffering from extremely low album sales. With the release of Metamorphosis, the album turned out not only to be a metamorphosis for Hilary Duff, but the record label as well. It's commonly credited for revitalizing Hollywood Records and pushing Disney's pursuit of young teen stars from their shows into music. After the release of Metamorphosis, she quickly followed the success up with a self-titled album that produced the singles Fly and Someone's Watching Over Me. The album was intended to be more mature in her breakaway from her signature character Lizzie McGuire, but drew criticism and heavy comparisons for its similarities to the likes of Avril Lavigne and Ashley Simpson. Nonetheless, the album still went on to do well, selling 1.8 million copies, but not matching up to the success of her near blockbuster debut. The following year, she released a greatest hits album titled The Most Wanted, which at this point only having 2 official studio albums. The album went on to become her first to debut at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200. Even though the album only had 3 new songs, it still went on to be certified platinum, showcasing that Hillary was truly a phenomenon and could sell anything at this point in her career. In the following year, she shied away from the public eye and went in to work on her 4th studio album, Dignity. A lot of things happened in Hillary's personal life through the creative process of this album. She talks about her dad's infidelity and her mom and dad divorcing, a breakup from a boyfriend, and being stalked by a stranger. The album was a clear marker towards her adulthood and a full pull away from her Disney days. It had an 80s dance pop inspired sound and saw Duff taking a more hands on approach with this album. However, unlike her previous works, it was met with little promotion and fanfare. At the time, pop superstars such as Rihanna had us standing under her umbrella, and even Disney had its own fair share of competition. Hillary wasn't the sole star anymore. At the time, shows like Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place were gaining immense popularity and became a priority for the continuing expansion of the label. Dignity still did moderately well, debuting in the top 3 and continuing her gold streak of selling 500,000 copies. Dignity was followed up with the second compilation album titled The Best Of, which was essentially a reprise of her 2005 greatest hits album The Most Wanted. The album featured a song titled Reach Out, which showed Duff in a much more sexually provocative and untamed light. After years away from music, a label departure, a scrapped album, a child, and divorce, she returned to music with her 5th studio album Breathe In, Breathe Out, which featured a much more contemporary radio-friendly pop sound It achieved a chart entry with the album's lead single Sparks. The album debuted in the top 5, but became her first album to not sell at least 500,000 copies. And that leads us to now. It's been 4 years since Hilary Duff has released music. With a new decade and year approaching, will you be looking forward to Duff's new music? Even though Duff's music itself may not have been the brightest thing in the world, at the height of her career, she was a fundamental player in creating a wave of young teens who got their start from TV shows, transitioning into music superstars. And as they say, the rest is history.